Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015 whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the you in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation
that's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, listen, subscribe. Thanks everybody that's listening with us.
Make sure
y'all
tune into the Sunday shows. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, go ahead. No, yeah, 1 p.m. Pacific
Standard Time every Sunday live show. We had a great live show this last Sunday. We love to see y'all back again so we can talk about some of the things that we go through this, throughout the week.
Yes, and I like the discussions. They're getting pretty real. So, breaking news. Major longshoreman strike hits East Coast ports. So thousands of dock workers at ports along the East and Gulf Coast went on strike early Tuesday morning amid a contract dispute, halting the flow of goods with potentially costly work stoppage. Their union, the International Longshoremen Association, failed to reach a new 6-year agreement with the United States Maritime Alliance, the group representing employers at ports from Maine to Texas. The workers walked off the job just as the previous contract expired. It's unclear how long the strike will last and how expensive it will be, but the prolonged shutdown could deal a significant blow to the economy since the workers who handle shipping containers control major commercial choke points. So first of all, this is major, ladies and gentlemen. Major.
That's your whole Eastern Seaboard.
They said they will help out the cruise ships and the military. Because they'll help the military and the cruise ships, they'll help out, but everything else, they're not doing nothing else. I mean, and they're concerned about this because they want to get these contracts in place because a lot of them are worried about automation. You know what I'm saying? Like how the machines are going to come in and take these jobs. And so, yeah, man,
they're asking for they say right now ILA members make a base salary of about $81,000 per year, but some can pull in over $200,000 annually with large amounts of overtime. They're basically looking for they're looking for a 77% pay raise over the 6-year life of the contract. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to get some real money out of it. You know what I mean? What's really boiling down to is I think they were going to get like $1 pay raise per year for like the next 5 years, but they're looking for $5 per year for the next 5 years because they're looking at the inflation and where inflation is taking the economy. And at the same time, we have to look at they're saying from Maine, which is the northeastern most state in the United States, all the way down to Texas. That covers the whole East Coast down into the South, Florida, all the way into Texas. That's the whole Gulf gone. You know what I mean? So basically, only place we're going to be getting goods from
is
from the West Coast.
Yeah, they said the whole East Coast is going to be shut down all the way. Yeah, and I was looking at the map, and it was
70% of Americans probably live on that side. Maybe at least about 70% of Americans, 60-70% of Americans live basically from Colorado over. You know what I mean? That's all that's food, that's everything that they're going to get from over there. They're going to have to get this thing settled pretty quickly. This is going to be
a major discussion as soon as if it goes long enough. This will be a discussion in America where it's like, look, you need to pay people.
Yeah.
And I mean, big up to the longshoremen for doing this. You know what I'm saying? Pay the people that make the country run so you can be filthy rich and enjoy your money.
And at the same time too, who's going to be next is truck drivers. Drivers are being gouged. I'm trying to tell you right now, they're being gouged. I mean, you have to look at it like some places they're only getting maybe $2 per mile. You have to understand gasoline. I won't say gasoline because its diesel prices are probably running them anywhere between 80 to $1 almost per mile. You know what I mean? 80 cents, maybe 65, 80 cents to $1 per mile. Plus you got to pay your driver, then all the other things that go along with trucking, breakdowns, all that kind of stuff. And they're getting hit as well. So I mean, this is your whole supply chain. I don't think Americans truly understand.
They don't understand. Yeah. My dad was a trucker. My bad to cut you off.
No,
and when I meet people and they be like, yeah, I was a trucker for this many years, just random people. I say, yo, thank you for what you do. Because without you, things don't move around America.
And they don't understand that. I mean, when
people don't get it, they think the mailman comes, a UPS guy comes. They think it's a truck driver that brings the longshoremen bring it from the boat to the shore, and then the truck drivers bring it to the rest of America.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you got your rails that may run things to it, but they also got to take it off the rail and put it on a truck. Everything you get is coming from a truck. And we may not realize that or understand that, but that's what's happening. It may show up to your house in a van, but it got there in some type of a truck at the end of the day, and it just basically was a passing process to get to your home. So
Yeah.
this is gonna be a monster, man. I kind of want I really think they're gonna get this thing settled, but they're so far apart. $1 to $5, man, that's a lot. Like if you look over the next 5 years, five times, that's $25 that they're looking for versus the people trying to give them $5.
I mean, you have to look, if you're gonna have a job like that where like it's of that much importance, you should be
Mm-hmm.
getting paid for it. I remember I was working for the county out here, and inflation hit, and I remember when it hit, what I'm saying, people, it was like at the point where we were eligible for food stamps because inflation hit
Gee.
so bad. Yeah. And so a lot of people were like, yo, why am I doing this high risk job? And I can go work somewhere else and make money and not have to worry about it. So a lot of people started, like a handful of people left, and so they instantly had to do a new contract, give us more money, and make sure we have raises. Because
Eligible for that's crazy,
I'm
man.
just saying
To
that,
have a
yeah,
job like that and be
yeah,
eligible, like that
eligible,
just
yeah.
it speaks
They said
volumes. You would think that would only be jobs that are minimum wage jobs, and you guys got paid for what we believe was good money.
yeah.
I mean, before like inflation hit, you guys were getting good money to do
But
the
I'm just saying
job.
that's what happened, bro. It was like it was a good job, but then inflation hit, and it was like, look, we're not making enough, and it's like it's not worth the risk. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because certain jobs, like you work, they're the danger of them, the health benefits or the health
Yep.
deterioration, what it's going to do to you. You take that risk. But it's
Yep.
like if I can't be making, if somebody in McDonald's makes $2 less than me, why am I doing my job? You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? I can go do something with less distress, not dissing a McDonald's job, but I'm just saying it's like,
Yeah.
what's the difference?
And being a longshoreman is a rigor, it has rigors to it, a lot of rigors to it, and it's a dangerous job to a degree as well.
Yeah,
What I'm saying? Any part of the supply chain is dangerous because you're moving around so many different things. People are tired. You don't know, what I mean? It's just a lot of things that can happen.
yeah,
They're a lot more risky than just your traditional job. So I don't know who's gonna step in and get this thing settled, what I mean? Because that's a hell of a gap. You're looking at
yeah.
$25 over the next 5 years, like I said, raise versus $5.
Well,
Where they
look at
where do you
inflation, man.
meet
Think
at?
about it. It's like they didn't hook us up from the last recession. They didn't hook us up from COVID.
Yeah.
People, our paychecks when it was COVID. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying like this: when it was COVID and they gave and people were on unemployment and unemployment gave them that little extra money, they
Mm-hmm.
fucked up because when they did that, they showed everybody how much money you should be making. And people were like, damn, I wish I should be making this so I can actually pay my bills, buy groceries with my money, and actually live a nice life. So that's why they're like upset. Oh, no one wants to go work at McDonald's. Why? You're not paying me. Nobody wants to go do this job. They don't have enough cashiers here.
I'm a,
No, you're not paying people. And so I don't knock them from trying to get their money.
no,
Get your
absolutely
money.
not.
You
No,
should be able
absolutely
to
not.
look at a lot of us. I can say almost everyone that listens to this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
listens to this show can tell you right now we are not working to save to buy new things and save up. A lot of us are working to pay for the stuff we have.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we're barely doing that. You might be able to have enough money to go out and have a dinner or something like that. But I mean, like make big moves. Like you used to watch people do back in the 90s.
Yeah,
Like big moves. Some of us can
yeah,
do it, but some of us can't, man. It's just,
absolutely. You're just
get your money.
maintaining,
Yeah.
like you said this before too. You're just
Hoping,
maintaining,
hoping nothing goes wrong.
hoping nothing major and something even small go wrong. Something happens with your car, something happens with your kid, anything. I think the biggest thing that can help this right now is going to be. And I know I said I had a conversation with somebody. I said it's not that I think a politician changes things. I think policy changes things. And I think a major policy changes that we need to get into right now is the cost of food, like making sure not just gouging. I'm talking about we need to be setting some prices. Like, hey, I want comparable prices to what these people are paying. You know what I mean? If everything's about the same when it comes to cost for these people to get it out to us, then this is what I want to be paying. If you're gonna be using basically migrant workers, which are not paying them hardly anything, then we need to see our costs around right here. Period. That's what we need to be seeing. I think that's a huge policy change for us. I think us also getting off of fossil fuels. I think that's going to be something. I'm not sure how we go about doing that anytime soon. So we're going to have to figure out a way to get our fuel costs down. You know what I mean? That's a big thing. That'll help too. But those two things are really what can be done. If food prices were not where they are right now, people would have a hell of a lot more money in their pocket and they would feel a little bit more comfortable right now.
I think this is actually going to be a good thing for American Revolution right now, where we all come together and because I mean not but a revolution of a revolt of sorts. I'm not calling for it, but
Tough
let's
time, man.
hear what I have to say right here.
Yep. Go ahead.
The longshoremen go on strike.
Yeah.
No goods are moving. No goods are coming on the shore.
Mm-hmm.
Drop 70%. People are going to start missing out on things and items. They're going to be like, yo, what's going on? They're going to hear what happened. Hey, the longshoremen aren't bringing anything onto shore because their company doesn't want to pay them. And the people around America are going to be like, pay them, people, right?
Yeah.
But it's not going to stop there. Then the truckers are going to be like, well, let me tell you what they're doing to us.
Yeah.
And then the grocery store workers are going to be like, let me tell you what they're doing to us.
Yeah.
And we're all going to want our money. And these corporations, think about it, they're only, if you don't have goods and stuff to sell and to move around, who are these rich people? They're rich as hell for taking money from us. That's the only thing they're good at.
I think that the timing of it is what is kind of bad, because it could lead to almost being like it's the administration's fault versus just being a time to where the contract was coming up for renewal and they just weren't able to agree. You know,
you can pull old bills back. Hey, these are people that are busting unions and doing this and doing that.
No, it doesn't matter. Just I can use. I mean,
yeah, you can.
When you got something like, and we're gonna talk about this later on in the segment. When you got something like a hurricane going on, you know, and people just lost everything. Then you got something like, you got that explosion down in, down in Georgia that they had. Just so out there. Then you got something like this going on. These are a lot of major things happening that affecting a lot of people's lives that you can utilize as political, as a weaponry.
Yes, you can. You can. Actually, you want to. I mean, we're going to keep up to date with this one because this is going to be good. It's not going to be good. It's going to be bad for the American people, but you need to pay the longshoremen.
Absolutely. And supplies arrived by plane and by mule in North Carolina as Helen's death toll tops 130. Widespread devastation left behind by Hurricane Helen came to light Monday across the South, revealing a wasteland of splintered houses, crushed cargo containers, and mud-covered highways in one of the worst storms in U.S. history. The death toll topped 130. A crisis was unfolding in western North Carolina, where residents stranded by washed-out roads and by lack of power and cellular service lined up for fresh water and a chance to message loved ones days after the storm that they were all alive. At least 133 deaths in 6 southeastern states have been attributed to the storm that inflicted damage from Florida's Gulf Coast to the Appalachian Mountains in Virginia. So this is
and there's thousands missing still.
Yeah, man. I mean, you should see the devastation from this storm, man.
I've seen it. Yeah,
I'm sure we've all kind of got to look at it. I saw some pictures, man, to where they had Wendy's, like they had a Wendy's that was like basically covered to the roof of the Wendy's. You could just barely see the Wendy's sign, and houses were covered. All you can see the top of the roof on the house. That just tell you how much water. And it's crazy because we're in where was that, in Asheville, North Carolina? They said there's 2,100 feet. It was either there or Tennessee. I believe they're 2,100 feet above sea level, and it's still flooded out like it did.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the picture that was kind of stunning to me. It showed the people, and it showed like the road, and it came down a little bit, and the people were just standing there. And they're just looking at where their town used to be. There's like a whole town that got wiped out.
It's gone.
Actually,
I know Asheville. I think Asheville, North Carolina, and I think there's a place over in Tennessee. I mean, that's pretty deep inland. I mean, Tennessee doesn't touch. I don't believe that Tennessee touches at all the the ocean. So I mean, they're probably the rivers and everything else are just over flooded with just the sheer amount of rain and water that just pushed into them. It's just crazy right now to see something like this happen, and it's a lot of people to die, especially in America. You don't really see that happening in America. We have even with hurricanes, you don't really see that happening. We had a huge one when Katrina hit, and then you had Sandy, I believe, that hit over in New York as well, but up in that area. But you don't really see it as much. So it's the amount of devastation that we saw right there, which is it's just sickening almost.
And that's what the first, I think they had the hurricane season started earlier this year.
Yeah,
and that one went around Florida, hit Tallahassee, and went straight up and just did destruction all the way
Category 4, man. It was a Category 4. You know,
and it got stronger. It got stronger as it got close. Usually, it kind of like when it gets closer to the land, it kind of like dies down. It's supposed to die down a little bit. Usually, it got stronger.
They said it was like kind of pumped up by like unusually warm water in the Gulf of Mexico. They said the water has been unusually warm for this time of year, and I think everyone's saying it's global warming because they just had something over.
It is global warming.
Yeah.
Hey, you can go ahead and ignore it. I bet those people there aren't. They're like, nah, this ain't never happened before. I'm a believer.
I mean,
You know what I'm
and then
saying?
either you're gonna count it as a fluke, or you're gonna look at it and say, this is this. If you never had this happen before to you, why do you think that is? Why do you think there's just this much water 2,100 feet above sea level?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're flooding out, like you got oceans of water 2,100 feet above sea level. All your houses are being pushed away. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me. I've never seen anything like that either. I mean, you expect that, like we just had, I think they just had something go on down in Houston. Like we had a couple storms down in Houston. I mean, you expect to see stuff like that in places like that, maybe New Orleans, but you don't expect to see that in North Carolina. They don't really get hit with a lot of hurricanes over there. You don't expect to see that in Tennessee, all the way as far inland as Tennessee. It's not like Tennessee's super
Yeah,
far inland,
Nashville. That's
but
yeah, Nashville. It hit Nashville, hit the edge of Atlanta. Yeah, and it hits what is that, Kentucky?
you
That
feel what
storm
I'm
came in
saying?
deep. That was a big storm and it came in deep.
Yeah, it shut down a lot of stuff. They were shutting down a lot of just Atlanta. In Georgia itself, because they knew they were going to get remnants from it, but they didn't expect it to move like you said, like it did, and how it kind of bounced off and it just pushed a wave of destruction all the way up the coast. And now you got the longshoremen going on strike, and you're going to need stuff at this point in time. This is bad. All these things are kind of happening at bad times. No, there's no good time for something like this to happen, but this is a extraordinarily bad time to let your longshoremen go on strike. I'm hoping that this like kind of pushes them to kind of get a deal done.
I
You
mean,
know?
Boeing's on strike too.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
heard about that.
So I mean,
Also, yeah,
yeah.
and also, Atlanta residents in Georgia biolab fire revealed huge smog of chlorine filling sky. It was like the end of the world, they said. Residents of the Atlanta area have reported a strong smell of chlorine after a fire at a chemical plant caused a toxic reaction 25 miles away. The city of Conyers has been evacuated, and a shelter-in-place order was extended on Monday for all Rockdale County after a fire at a biolab sent a massive plume of dark smoke high into the sky. While there have been no advisories for Atlanta, social media users in the area say the air smells like chlorine in Fulton County, which is about 40-minute drive from Conyers. Residents of Atlanta area also say the air is filled with a fog, which with some reporting feeling discomfort in their eyes, noses, throats, prompting firefighters to use detectors to check the quality of the air in various parts of the city. I mean, there's
And
a
so
way
there's
go
and
ahead.
so they're saying this too. They said what caused it was a sprinkler head malfunction after 5 a.m. at the biolab plant, causing a mixture with water reactive chemicals. Rickdale County Fire Chief Martin Daniels said. Now he says the exact cause of the fire was under investigation, but the chief said at the afternoon news conference that the sprinkler system and then firefighters may have exuberated the chemical reaction by putting water on it. And he says, we've been firefighting with water, McDaniel said during the update, but the water is also aggravating the chemical. So
What the
the
hell are they
water,
supposed to use? You know what I mean? You guys should have had something on site there to make sure that they, I mean, that's why they should be sued. He basically gave a lawsuit to the general public. So whatever you had there that was going to react, negatively with water should have been contained in an area where you already had some kind of
like a foam system.
yeah. Like why the hell was it in an area where if you got to call the fire department, what else they're going to put on the shit?
Yeah,
They're
but
coming with
what triggered the sprinkler system? It said after 5 a.m. was like, I mean, this is actually we'll learn about the cause later on. I wonder what's going to happen. It's not, there's the people in the area are sheltering in place, but it's just like the chemical spill over in Ohio that they had.
Palestine, Ohio.
Palestine, Ohio. So what's going to happen? What is this chemical? There, people are saying it smells like chemicals out there. You know what I'm saying? What
And,
was all at this biolab?
and you know who's in that area? A whole bunch of people of color are in that area. Are they going to look at it in Palestine, Ohio? I believe that's more of a rural kind of, I
I
mean,
mean, I don't think there's a difference. Like, I mean, I don't think it was. You think actually it could have been intentional after we found out what happened in Baltimore.
I'm not saying intentional. I'm just
Yeah,
saying the degree that they're going to actually try and compensate people for what happened here. Are they going
yeah.
to try and say, oh, that's 40 miles away? That's 40 minutes. We're not going to compensate people in Atlanta because Conyers is about 40 minutes away from 40 miles or 40 minutes away from Atlanta. But if you're saying you're getting your eyes are burning, your throat's messed up all the way in Atlanta, there's a lot of people in that in the in Atlanta area,
And there's a lot of
so
people on the way there too. Now think about it. You know, so they're appealing. It's an appeal right now. They were going to pay the people of excuse me, Palestine, Ohio, $600 million settlement.
Yeah.
but it looks like someone appealed it. Appeal delays $600 million settlement payment in Fury, Ohio derailment. Now, think about it. We have the one in Ohio. We're having this one now of these large chemicals going to the sky. Now, when
Yep.
it happened in Ohio, Palestine, Ohio, those chemicals went miles. Like
Yep.
people were showing their
It
cars, like, look,
spilled
man,
out.
it spilled
The
out. Look, the animals were dying miles away. Fucking the water.
went into the rivers.
I saw the
Yeah,
person take the
everywhere.
rock, and they're like, you can't see it because it's at the bottom. And they threw the rock, and you saw the color of the water
Come-
change. You
That
know,
that was a little bit different than this one because that actually was a spill and also like a release of gases too at the same
nah, they
time.
burnt. They set it on fire.
Oh,
The
is that what
train,
they
yeah,
did?
yeah, yeah. The train spilled over, and it was about to get into the, it was getting into the water. So that what they did is they lit it on fire. But it went up there, and it was supposed to make like acid rain. So that cloud is somewhere. I mean, it spread over in that area. So now you have more chemicals in the south going up, and like you saw the color of them
Oh
clouds.
man, it looked crazy. I mean,
That's not a
it
good
looked
color.
crazy. I mean, we don't know. No one. They're not ever. They don't have to tell us what's all inside that lab. We don't know what was burned, what people are going to be exposed to. No one's going to ever know what's happened here. I mean, it's just another. I mean, we're also that we've been talking about like raising our nuclear power capabilities by 3 times, like 300% by the year 2050. And so this is the kind of stuff that, I think you had told me that 3 Mile Island was in Washington State. I think you
Yes,
had told,
yes, yeah.
and so that was where we had a big nuclear reactor, some kind of a damage happened or something like that, or a spill or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, you got to kind of start looking at like if we can't contain these type of things from, I'm not saying it's perfect, but we have to have more regulation on this type of stuff, man, because we don't know how this is going to affect the environment, people as a whole. We don't know. And I mean, $600 million ain't shit for you to
Actually, my
fucking.
bad. My apologies. 3 Mile Island is located in south central Pennsylvania. It's the site of
Remember,
the
I said
worst
I told
commercial
you I thought it
nuclear
was
accident.
Pennsylvania,
Yeah, you
bro.
did.
I did.
You did. I don't know why I thought it. I always thought it was in Washington. Someone told me that, so I
Yeah,
apologize. That's on
I
me.
thought it was. I did think it was, but I'd heard we had a nuclear. But anyway, point being, we got it corrected. The biggest thing is like if we're gonna be pushing 3 times 300% increase in nuclear power, which we're gonna need, especially with AI. You look at I think Microsoft is the one who went in there and they bought for the next 20 years. They're buying 100% when they get it up and running. They paid for 100% of all power out of that place for the next 20 years. They're gonna buy it all because that's
Yeah.
for AI. You have to have a lot of that power. But just going back into this, we have to start creating some type of I know we have a task force, but we need to bear down a little bit more on this because this could be a problem for us everywhere. If you're going to create, more nuclear reactors, more biochemicals, it's just kind of that it's a form of war at the same time too. We all
It is.
know that. You know what I mean? So
Well, think about it. Like they want to get rid of all these groups that are supposed to be regulating these agencies that are supposed to be regulating this anyways.
that's
They're saying, hey,
absolutely
they wanted to get rid of FEMA. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people need them right now. So I mean, it's your vote's gonna matter. So it's all about you got to cut your nose to spite your face
the
because FEMA's
Supreme
in there
Court.
right now. The National Guard is in there right now, even though people are online trying to get clicks and likes saying, why aren't they down here? They're like, why isn't Biden and Kamala doing something? I'm like, do you want them to fly personally down there? And they're like, yes, they need to get in there in the mud. And then they're like, why is no one doing that? I'm like, the storm was happening. You can't
Yeah.
rescue people in the storm. They told you to leave.
And on top of that, you look at what the Supreme Court just did with the Chevron ruling and kind of saying all those different rulings were like, hey, even if if one state like there's spillage into your state of their pollution, you can't do anything about it. The federal government can't do anything about it. Look at what happened with the Air Force when they were found to have been polluting. I think it was New Mexico. What that was that in New Mexico or Arizona? Where they were down in somewhere in the south, somewhere in the
Yeah,
southwest.
yeah.
You know what I mean? They were found to be polluting. They just said, you know what? Hey, the Supreme Court just ruled that we don't got to pay you shit. We're not
We
going
ain't
to pay
got to
you
clean it
shit.
up. Yeah.
Period. We're not doing it. You know what I mean? So we got to pay more attention to these things. We got huge things going on as far as storms are happening, are going crazy, and now you got these kind of spills happening. It's going to be harder for people to get settlements for this now. I don't know.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what
I
I
mean,
mean? So
it probably will. And I mean, like, will they be able to be insured? Are these places going to be natural disaster areas? A lot is
they
going to
should
change in America real quick, and we're going to keep you up to date on it here at Uncommon Courtesy. Don't forget to
absolutely,
catch us at 1 p.m. Pacific time every Sunday. Join the discussion. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk, we're gonna argue, but we're gonna leave friends. All right?
absolutely.
Yeah, Uncommon Courtesy. We'll see y'all next time.